Hello everybody, welcome back to Max Reviews. This is Braden here. This is Max Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man 2002, and this is going to be the beginning of a Spider-Man rewatch. I'm going to be doing all the Spider-Man movies, maybe the Venom movies, and then Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse in anticipation for Spider-Man No Way Home. We just got a new trailer. Really excited to start talking about Spider-Man 2002, and so let's get started talking. And let's start with the good. So, about this movie, it just feels like the classic Spider-Man movie. It has the classic him getting bit by a spider, the classic with great power comes great responsibility line. And I just love this movie because it has the heart, it could have the emotion, it could also have really cool action at times for the times that it was in, and then it can also have romance and so many very, very cool parts to it. And so I'm going to sort of be breaking down this film, but I really love this movie. It's the classic Spider-Man. Even if the visual effects and everything aren't that good, this is still the main best. This is like the number one superhero movie when it came out, because you did have some smaller superhero movies. You had the Superman movies. You had the old Batman movies, and then this came out right after X-Men, and so this was the best movie that had come out for a superhero movie ever at the time. So this was such a classic movie, and I think it still holds all that classicness. I love the entire Raimi trilogy. I love the first two, and then the third I think makes some mistakes, but I still enjoy it quite a bit. And you could check out my reviews. They're going to be still doing this entire rewatch. So let's get started. So, with the beginning, with the title cards, I think it's very unique how they do it, because the other Spider-Man movies, they don't really do that. They all are unique, but the Raimi trilogy, they have this really cool thing with the opening title cards having the spider webs and doing that. The score also here is really good. And I was timing it. In the first 5 minutes, we meet Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn, Peter, and MJ. And we understand where Peter's in the school socially. And that's just in the first 5 minutes. It sets everything up so well in the first 5 minutes that that's why it works so well. It sets everything up without having to do these huge or fantastical things. It just shows you all the characters. It introduce them. You understand a bunch of stuff. You understand stuff with Norman and Harry. You understand stuff with Peter. You understand MJ. You understand all this in the first 5 minutes. So an amazing start. And then he gets bit in the first 10 minutes. And everything happens fast. And it also sets everything really well up. It sets everything up really well with Norman. Norman Osborn as Green Goblin is amazing character, because Willem Dafoe, he could go crazy, and he could also be a relatable character that you really understand him and his actions and what he does. And when Spider-Man gets bit by the spider, Green Goblin happens. So Green Goblin and Spider-Man both get an origin story at the same time, and we spend a bunch of time with them and flesh both of them out. And this is why Green Goblin is such an amazing character to me, because he can do the crazy, but he could also be the dad. And they spent a bunch of time developing him. He is seen in the movie about as much as Spider-Man, because they develop him. They really do it. They go for it. And it's just classic how they do Peter getting his powers, how they display that with his glasses, the wrestling match, the spider bite, and then swinging for the first time. It's just something so unique and classic that the other films, they don't really explore as much, which is why I'm interested in the Spider-Man Freshman Year show that's going to be coming to Disney+, because that'll explore it for the MCU's Peter Parker. But this is just the classic version of that, and I really love it. And another thing that's really nice about this movie is the relationships, which these are the best relationships in the entire Spider-Man movies. In every Spider-Man movie, the best relationships are in the Raimi trilogy, where you have Harry, Peter, MJ, and then you have all the villains that come in. And They all have a place in the story, and they all work. And the relationships, you really, really, really care about these characters a ton. And that's why I just love this movie so much. Also, just it doesn't start with like a slam. Yes, Peter Parker, Spider-Man. No, it starts with this. All starts with a girl, and that's what he says in the beginning. It's so great, and the characters are all memorable. Like J.K. Simmons as his character at the newspaper, well, is so great. And then there's Uncle Ben in the great line, with great power comes great responsibility. And it's the best message in every Spider-Man movie ever. Uncle Ben is the best mentor for Spider-Man. I think he's better than Tony Stark as a mentor. Not as a character, but as a mentor. And you could tell that time has passed after Uncle Ben is shot, between the graduation and then Peter starts working at the Daily Bugle. But it trusts the audience to figure that out for themselves rather than showing like something like 6 months later on the screen. And also, with Green Goblin's attacks that are happening, you understand what he's coming from and why he's doing what he does. And there's these love triangles with MJ, Peter, Spider-Man, and Harry where you don't know where it's gonna go. MJ likes Spider-Man, Harry likes MJ, MJ might like Harry, MJ might like Peter, Peter likes MJ. It's very complex how it all works. And then another thing with Green Goblin, he has such great character with this sense of insanity and danger to him. And then when you get to the final battle where Spider-Man has to choose between MJ and the kids, it's just really classic kind of a Spider-Man, like a hero even kind of a thing. And then another nice thing about this movie, it seems like New York is a character in the movie. They're like, you don't hurt Spider-Man, and are throwing stuff at Green Goblin, which essentially saves Peter's life, which is why these Raimi films are the best for Spider-Man movies. I love these movies because they have these characters, like even New York as like a character, and they're really good. And the action in the final battle, it packs a punch when you get to just Green Goblin and Spider-Man fighting. You just really feel the punch when it happens. And then when Norman dies, you feel the emotion, and you're like, what's gonna happen in the future? Like, how is this gonna play out? We know the comics, but how is this really gonna go? And it's just such a great ending to the character of Green Goblin. He tries to kill Spider-Man. He embraces the crazy. He tries to kill Spider-Man. It doesn't really work. And so that's what happens to him. And it's very interesting, all these characters in this movie. And even the final scene with MJ and Peter, they're talking, and then he leaves. It's his curse. It's his gift and his curse at the same time. He's Spider-Man, and then he swings. It's such a classic movie. And I gotta say, for me, this is just, there is a ton of good Spider-Man movies, I'd say, but the Raimi trilogy, these are the films that I love the most. This is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I might do a ranking for that. I don't know, favorite trilogies of all time, but I love this trilogy, and this is such a great start, the best start to any Spider-Man ever, and it's just such a classic film. If I had to go into slightly bad, the CGI doesn't look too good. I was not born in, like, the 90s, so I wasn't like, oh, wow, this is such big, amazing action and looks so cool. I've seen big spectacle films, but the CGI in this movie, it isn't good. It isn't super good now, but it still looks pretty good, I think. It holds up fairly well. And then also, Green Goblin's suit does look a bit stupid, but I can sort of understand that. He looks different, which is fine. And how this could play into No Way Home, if Spider-Man shows up, if Tobey Maguire shows up, that will be amazing. We know Green Goblin's going to be in it, and Green Goblin is just one of the best Spider-Man villains ever for me, so I can't wait to see more of them. Thank you for watching. If you watched this far, I'm Braden. This is Max Reviews. I'm going to be doing reviews for all the Spider-Man movies. I'm rewatching them and noticing new details, diving in deeper. And so please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you want to see like a ranking of my favorite trilogies. I might do top 100 movies sometime in January. There's just a bunch of stuff to do. Doing a bunch of reviews. Please subscribe. Trying to get those 10 subscribers before December 1st. Don't know if it's going to happen, but I really hope it does. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Braden. This is Max Reviews. See you in the next one. Braden out.